From ABC15 Arizona, breaking news.
Hey, good evening, everyone. 3 o'clock here, ABC 15. It is a weather action day, and you can see 4 different images there. Amber and her team keeping a close look at the radar over in the Weather Center. We see heavy rain coming down from the chopper in the top right quadrant, and other viewer video coming in, of course, in the bottom there.
Yeah, and right now, Phoenix Sky Harbor on a ground stop. We're being told that that is until at least 3:30. Faye Fredericks, alongside Craig McKee here. We have live coverage for you all evening long as we try to keep you safe. Follow along with us. That way you can see what's going on outside, but you don't have to be there yourself. Let us do the work for you.
Absolutely. If you do have something going on in your community, we'd love to see your video and your images, of course. Share at abc15.com if you're able to do so safely. Again, I'm Craig McKee. Thanks for joining us here at 3.
And I'm Faye Fredericks. We want to head it over to Chief Meteorologist Amber Sullins right now in the ABC 15 Forecast Center. Amber, been a fairly dry summer to this point. Seems like the monsoon is really trying to play catch up in these final days here.
Yeah, we have received over an inch of rain at Sky Harbor in 30 minutes time. That is more than the rest of the monsoon season combined. And more rain is coming in right now. We've got shower and thunderstorm activity across the valley. And really, since about 9:30 this morning, it's been round after round after round with no sign of slowing down. We've got more building to the south right now, which will be moving up into the Phoenix metro area over the next couple of hours. Hundreds of lightning strikes here across the Phoenix metro area. Our lightning strike counter up well over 300 in the last hour. Right now, back down to 258, but that's not much of an improvement. Lightning is still a major threat here, and so it is not safe to be outside as these thunderstorms move in with that lightning. You want to seek shelter, and this is especially true right now in Ahwatukee, Levine, and Glendale. That's where the concentration of lightning is right now. The heaviest rain hitting along I-10 near Ray Road and Chandler Boulevard at this hour, and moving up toward Warner and Elliott, so that I-10 corridor from Ahwatukee, South Chandler up into Tempe toward the 60 interchange there. So this is what we're tracking, the wide swath of the valley getting in on heavy rain, lightning, and dangerously high winds with some of these storms. I do want to show you the active alerts here across the valley. We did have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect over the last hour, which is why we were on air and streaming for that severe weather threat. At this point, the severe thunderstorm warnings have all ended. They expired at 3 o'clock. We haven't seen any new ones issued yet, but the entire Phoenix metro area remains under a flash flood warning until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Beyond that, we have flood watches in effect until very late tonight here in the Phoenix area and until tomorrow evening across southeastern Arizona as the chance for more storms continues. We also have a severe thunderstorm watch till 7 o'clock tonight. This does include the Phoenix metro area and all areas on the map you see here shaded in pink. So severe weather, flooding, and cloud to ground lightning. We are seeing all of those threats across the valley. I do want to send it out to meteorologist Justin Hobbs, who's been helping us track these storms. And Justin, looks like you've run into some flooding out there toward the Fountain Hills area. Give us an update.
Yeah, Amber, so we were driving down towards 87. We crossed over 87. We're on North Fort McDowell Road. Take a look here behind me. Road completely impassable right now as that water is rushing and gushing over the highway. This all flowing down towards the Salt River, which is just beyond, way out there in the distance. This, again, all flowing into those low-lying areas. But we were driving over here, and some of those parts of the road were getting some of that water over it. But then we came across a family here who was not able to pass through, and thank goodness they did not pass through this flowing water. What is your name, by the way?
I'm Taylor Rogers. Yeah, we live over there, and we're not able to pass through right now. But through all my lives, all my years I've lived here, it's never been this bad. I've never seen it.
So take us through. So when you all were driving down here and you saw this for the first time, I mean, what were the thoughts that went through your head?
Well, it's like, why is it raining so much? It's never been this bad. Like, how is it going to be on from going forward?
Now, do you often see this kind of flooding here? Have you seen anything like this before?
I've seen similar, but not this bad.
It's quite wild to see for sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, take me through. What have you all been out to today? Have you all been out in the storms throughout the day? As you came back home, and obviously you can't get home now, are you all worried about where your house is located? Is it in that low-lying area?
We've been at school through the day. It's been raining a couple. It's been raining a little bit, and I'm just worried about the horses and the cows. That's my main worry.
Absolutely, and hopefully at least the rain is letting up just a bit for us, but of course we hope that you all can get home safe. We appreciate you all talking with us. Make the smart move like they did. If you see a road like this, never drive through it. It is never safe to do so. Reporting live here just out of Fountain Hills, Justin Hobbs, ABC15 Arizona.
Yeah, Justin, it's a piece of advice we cannot share enough for sure. Eleni Dow in the Globe Miami area today tracking some flood damage there. Eleni, that area hit pretty hard overnight and bracing for more today.
Yes, it was hit pretty hard overnight, but right now, as you can see, it's a little sunny, but there is some water on the roadway. I am in Claypool in between Miami and Globe, and as you can see, well, there's no one around right now, but earlier, this water was rushing. It was going really fast, and it was hit with rain yesterday and this morning. The Healy County Emergency Manager tells me it all came pretty fast yesterday. Now, they have sandbagging stations for folks and highly urge people to take advantage of them as they continue to anticipate more rain coming in today. And there was some flood damage to a few places, including the Walmart, a nearby bar, as well as Miami High School. Now, there were a lot of fans throughout the school as we walked through with the superintendent, but they say he hopes to have it all cleaned up for students to come back to school on Monday, and they're going to figure all of that out over the weekend. As for other parts of Miami and Globe, the county emergency manager tells us they're still working on cleaning up debris and all the drainages to anticipate all that rain coming in. I'll send it back to you, Craig.
Eleni, thank you.
Here in the Valley of the West Side was hit hard by storms this morning. Peoria and Sun City both seeing roads flood. 99th Avenue just north of Grand seeing some of the worst of it just before noon. Our crews were there as many drivers made the right choice, turned around or pulled off to the side or one of the side streets. Some others, however, dangerously plowing through those floodwaters there. The flooding came extremely fast, so while it may look safe at one moment, you don't know what will happen the next. We were able to talk to some of those drivers, one who pulled over and another who flooded their engine.
I just came by a few minutes ago and I saw it like this, so I just turned around and went backwards. And
when it started to shut off, right when I turned this corner right here, it started to go like the gas didn't want to work. The pedal didn't want to work and just shut off right here.
Now that is a very expensive problem to have.
Yes.
Not only is it an inconvenience, not only is it dangerous, it's also a very expensive problem to have, so we can't stress this enough. If the streets are flooded, turn around, don't drown.
Yeah, just because you see other people driving through there doesn't mean it's a safe situation at all. You know, Rachel Louise Justice also out and about today in the live drive covering the whole valley pretty much. North Valley, I-17 corridor. Rachel, we checked in with you a few hours ago as Anthem saw storms. Tell us about what you've seen since.
Yeah, we're now in Sun City, and I'll give you a view of what we're seeing right now. There's a lot of flooding around this area. This is a car that got abandoned after it was pulled off of the road and started moving into this area where normally you'd have golf carts going. I guess they didn't see that there was going to be that dip, and then they got swept away. We were told there was about 5 cars in this flooding on this left here that you can see throughout the last couple of hours that were swept away. Most of them have since been picked up, but that one staying in place. And this is looking actually pretty bone dry compared to what we saw just a couple of hours ago. I mean, this whole area was flooded, and we were even told that almost up to people's curbs up close to their homes there was flooding. So it's a developing situation out here. It is starting to get a little bit drier, but we're also seeing dark clouds in the distance. We're also hearing thunder and lightning. It could be coming to us at any time as well. I'll go ahead and send it back to you in the studio, Amber.
Yeah, we've got a lot to track on ABC 15 Desert Doppler. So let me just zoom you in here to the neighborhoods that are getting hit the hardest. These storms coming in from the south right now, and at this point, we've got heavy downpours that stretch up through the Ahwatukee foothills area, over South Mountain and into South Phoenix. So you can see that now moving its way up from the south and pushing over South Mountain. In fact, as I zoom in and take a closer look at this, we've got lots of lightning and that heavy rain stretching along baseline from I-10 out toward about 19th Avenue right now, and a little farther to the north out to Glendale, Metro Center, Moon Valley, same situation there. So heavy rain coming on some of these areas that have already received over an inch of rain today. We've been really filling up those rain gauges and then some across the Phoenix metro area. And now this new round coming in will bring even more. In the meantime, we still have heavy downpours out near Fountain Hills and Apache Junction to our east. Lighter rain in Mesa, Gilbert, and Chandler. But just south of there, a little bit more brewing out near Sun Lakes that could potentially push into Chandler here in about the next 20 to 30 minutes. At this point, we also have most of the Phoenix metro area under a flash flood warning. Look at all the red. Every spot in red here till 4 o'clock this afternoon is under a flash flood warning. And then even after that, we're under a flash flood watch until 11 o'clock tonight. Now, once we head to about sunset, 7 o'clock or so, I think we're really going to start to see things wind down. But until then, we are rocking and rolling and more rounds are coming in from the south. Right now, there are no severe thunderstorm warnings in the Phoenix metro area, but we do have a watch, and this goes until 7 o'clock tonight. The difference is a watch means that conditions are favorable for whatever that threat is. So the atmosphere is ready to go to form severe thunderstorms. That's what the watch means. The warning means there's a severe thunderstorm right now. And we saw that this morning and into early this afternoon. But at this point in Phoenix, none of the storms that we're watching have a severe thunderstorm warning on them. I do think this one that is pushing up toward the airport is showing some signs of intensification. So we may see one issued for this. We're going to have to keep a close eye on it. But this is the area in question here. I'll circle it for you. It does look like ABC15 Desert Doppler is picking up some hail with this. And that's been the other threat today. We've seen hail dime to quarter size across the Phoenix metro area here, and it is looking like we are seeing a little bit more of that potentially right near Rustler's Roost at this hour. So that is the most likely storm across the valley to maybe go severe. The rest of this, it's just going to be heavy rain, gust 40 to 50 miles per hour, cloud to ground lightning. Those are going to be the top threats here over the next couple of hours. But of course, we know we're really watching Tempe closely, Craig, because we've got tens of thousands of people ready to descend for that ASU football game tonight. And we need to get these storms out of here ahead of time for them to kick off.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that one cell you were just looking at, I was like, uh-oh, this could graze that area. You know, we're tracking the impact of these storms on the roads and neighborhoods. Also, that big night that Amber mentioned for football fans, ASU set to host number 24 TCU in Tempe for their toughest matchup of the season yet. If they're not fighting against Mother Nature, it's TCU. Our Nicole Grigg at Mountain America Stadium for us tonight. Nicole, much wetter tailgate for these fans than they're probably used to.
Yeah, there was only about a dozen people when I made my way to the tailgate lot. I was actually just checking my radar, Amber, because I can hear the light or the thunder picking up and getting closer. We started to get a brief downpour, but it's already letting up. But just to give you an idea where we are, we actually just had about 100 people standing in line right here. This is the employee entrance. They just got let in to make their way into the stadium. We've been watching people put up these banners right here frantically before this weather started. So you can see that there's still some employees out here prepping ahead of the 4:30 is when the gates open. Now, ASU saying that this is actually a sold out crowd. So of course the concern is how packed that stadium is going to be. They're going to be watching the weather. The game will go on even if it's raining. However, if there is lightning, it will be a delayed game. So of course we're going to be out here checking to make sure, you know, if that does happen, people are going to have to rush out of the stadium or find somewhere safe to be. Of course, we've seen this in the past during ASU games during monsoon season. So we'll stay out here live in Tempe and check back in with you. Back to you.
Nicole, do they happen to have any kind of contingency plan that you're aware of where they're going to put people, or is it going to be every man for themselves trying to get into whatever businesses or overpasses are available to take shelter under?
No, that's a great question, and you know, we can work to get the official statement from ASU Athletics. But do you recall was it maybe 2 summers ago where there was that dust storm that came in and no one knew where to go, and they just like everyone ran and dashed out of the stadium. I mean, I think that's just like, you know, as a human being, that's your first reaction is just to run out. But let me go ahead and see if we can get the desk to just get an official statement. I know that ASU football has been active on X right now on social media. They already canceled the ASU Devil Walk. I think that's when all the, you know, players come out and do their walk into the stadium. So that's been canceled. So they are taking precautions because they know that this is a serious weather event that's happening. Actually, Amber, can you see this rain coming back down?
Yeah, it is just pouring.
It's coming. It's like up.
Yeah, Nicole, I don't know if you heard me about 10 minutes ago.
And it just stopped a few minutes ago.
Yeah, about 10 minutes ago, that storm was down in Ahwatukee, and we showed you it was coming up toward Tempe. So it's going to get even heavier on you, I think, in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So yes, please work to get us some answers on that. We do want to keep everybody safe, and there is a concern that there could be lightning right around the start of the game. I do think, and I have been saying this over the last couple of hours as we've been on continuing coverage here, that once the sun sets tonight, we will start to shut things down, and the storm chances are really going to go down at that point. But at least for now, it's going to be round after round moving in, and it's not just rain. There's lots of lightning with these storms. They are absolutely loaded with lightning, and we've even seen some hail. So it is going to be a big concern. Kickoff at 6 p.m. We're going to have to just watch and wait to see what the radar situation is at that point. But there is still a chance for storms at that hour. Now, we could see temperatures recover into the upper 70s to low 80s. But if we continue to see the rain moving through, like you just saw from Nicole's shot, we'll keep temperatures much lower than that and potentially in the 60s as we head toward kickoff tonight, because we've seen some big cool downs coming with these storms. Lots of rain cooled air across the valley right now, keeping temperatures well below average for this time of year. And as we take a live look at ABC15 Desert Doppler, you can see all of the storms pushing through. I do just briefly want to take you into Tempe and this part of the valley, because really that's where the heaviest stuff is right now. We have 2 areas on ABC15 Desert Doppler that show the chance for hail with these storms, and that is right near Sky Harbor and also just south of Sky Harbor along I-10. So we've got the chance for at least some dime-sized hail out of this storm as it pushes through. The heavy downpour right over the airport's really going to up the rainfall total. And I just want to refresh real quick. We had over an inch of rain already, and we'll start to see, it hasn't upticked yet, but we'll start to see that uptick here because we've got another round of heavy rain coming right over the airport, Faye. Already today, over an inch of rain means we've received more today than we have for the rest of the monsoon season combined. And actually, about an inch of that fell in 30 minutes. So it is coming down hard and fast. We have seen this over the last several monsoons where we have done a big chunk of our monsoon rainfall in a very short amount of time. Faye?
Yeah, Amber, thank you. Taking a look now at some of the viewer images of these storms. Thanks to Tina for sending this in. She was sitting in her car and spotted the hail and the rain. Took this video from safely inside her car. Tina, we appreciate it, and we love that you're staying safe doing this. In Prescott, Junior showing us some more rain. This is up in the high country, really a deluge. You can barely see the homes across the street. Thanks to Junior for taking this. And I think I just saw a flash of lightning there too. We've had so much of that with these storms. Check out this image, an owl out there spreading his wings, taking a little shower in all of these storms. This is in North Phoenix in the Desert Ridge area. I think he's enjoying himself out there. If you see weather in your area and it's safe, take some pictures, send us some video, and help us tell the weather story in your neighborhood. Send your stuff to share@abc15.com. You can upload it to our site at abc15.com/share.
Certainly always appreciate seeing those. Quick update here. The Sparky's touchdown tailgate out at the stadium canceled for tonight due to the weather. So if you are heading out there planning to go to that tailgate, it is shut down. Also, make sure to download the free ABC15 mobile app with our hour-by-hour forecast right down to your neighborhood. We're going to be sending you breaking weather alerts as well when these
Back to our monsoon 2025 coverage. Viewer Jasmine Hall capturing some intense hail and rain. This is near the 101 in Olive, and Amber, it was just coming down there.
Sure, we've seen hail today, some spots the size of quarters. At this point, no active severe thunderstorm warnings for the Phoenix metro area, but we are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 7 o'clock tonight, meaning conditions are favorable to maybe see some of those warnings issued. I do just want to pop on the warning overlay right now because we do have most of the Phoenix metro area under a flash flood warning. There's kind of the broader look. What it really is about 3 or 4 flash flood warnings that are all overlaid. So when you take all of those together, it is the entire Phoenix metro area under a flash flood warning at this point. So if you see any flooded areas, do not attempt to drive through them. You don't even know if the road is there underneath what looks like the water. You may think, it doesn't look that deep, but the road may be completely washed out underneath and you might get stuck. So remember, turn around, don't drown. I know it sounds a little corny, but it's an easy way to remember that it's just not safe to drive through flooded areas. Now, as we look down to the south, we've got more storms building down here. That's important because this has been the origin point of all of the storms that have pushed through the Phoenix metro area over the last several hours. So what's happening down here in Pinal County is what we need to be watching to see what could potentially move into the valley next. So as long as we've got stuff popping down here, we're nowhere close to finished with this storm. More and more rounds of shower and thunderstorm activity will push through as long as it's going down there. As we go back into the valley, I do want to freeze frame this for a minute. We're going to show you some of the spots getting in on the heaviest rain right now. And it does include Scottsdale neighborhoods from McCormick Ranch out toward Fashion Square Mall down to South Scottsdale over Papago Park and almost all the way to the 51. So that entire corridor here, Arcadia, Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, just getting absolutely soaked right now. We've got lightning in the mix, powerful gusty winds, 40 to 50 miles per hour out of these storms, and heavy downpours that stretch farther south through Tempe, past ASU, and out toward Dobson Ranch too. So that's where the majority of the heavy rain is. However, we do have little pockets here and there in other valley places like Deer Valley up to the north. We've got some heavy rain there, lots of lightning in the mix. Peoria, Tolleson also getting in on some heavy rain. Parts of Laveen and the Ahwatukee foothills areas. And then just out to the east, this is just absolutely gnarly stuff that stretches from between Sacaton to Randolph and all the way up toward Florence Junction. We've got hail with this, really heavy rain, hundreds of lightning strikes. This is just not looking good for that part of Pinal County. It is intensifying at this moment, so I would not be surprised if we end up getting a severe thunderstorm warning out of this from the National Weather Service. In addition to everything I just showed you, we've got winds flowing out of these storms that are pushing south. So blowing dust is a big concern right now from Casa Grande down toward Marana, an active dust storm advisory in effect for that area. And again, as we take a broader look at the Phoenix metro area, flooding has been a big concern of ours. And with the heavy downpours coming in, we are not going to be able to have the ground absorb any more at this point. This central corridor from Phoenix up through Scottsdale, a lot of these neighborhoods have already received 1 to 2 inches of rain today, and it's coming down again. We're going to see some incredible rainfall totals when all is said and done with this. I think, Faye, we might even see some valley neighborhoods get over 3 inches of rain by the time we're done tonight because we're just locked and loaded. The atmosphere is ready to send more up our way from the south over the next couple of hours.
East Valley earlier, Amber, and boy, it was coming down like I haven't seen in a very long time. Also want to take you now a live look at Whitman. MCSO surprise firefighters and Arizona Fire and Medical are there for reports of a water rescue. Now, early reports are 2 people may be trapped in a wash there. Our crews are on the ground working to learn more. We're going to get you those updates as soon as we possibly can. Kind of in the distance there, you see some of the water just stuck on the road. First, though, we want to get it out to Rachel Louise Just. She's in the North Valley. And Rachel, it looks like flooded streets and some downed trees we see there where you are.
Yeah, we've been driving around this neighborhood. We've seen a couple of different downed trees, not all of them by any means, but I think we saw 2 within this neighborhood and some flooding in this area. We're also right by New River, where there's also flooding going on right there. We have been around Sun City for most of the day. Neighbors seeing a couple of cars get swept up in flooding in that area. And there was really a river that kind of formed in the middle of their street. And here's a look at the amount of water they had covering the path, the grass up to the curb. Everyone I spoke with in that neighborhood saying it's the worst flooding they've seen in years. That area hit by not only about 40 minutes of nonstop rain, but also hail. And neighbors say that got about as big as a penny. Here's what else they had to say.
It just flooded. I mean, you couldn't see, this was all completely a lake. You couldn't see the curbs, you couldn't see the grass, couldn't see the drive.
And again, we are still seeing some of the impacts of this a couple of hours later, but we'll keep driving around the area. For now, live in Sun City, Rachel Louise, just ABC 15 Arizona.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Sometimes the water comes up quickly and then it goes away just as fast, but that middle point is where it can be so dangerous for folks. You know, since these storms kicked in, we've been seeing delays and stops and cancellations over at Sky Harbor.
Yeah, not a fun day to be flying. Certainly not a fun day to be picking anybody up from the airport as well. Our Lillian Donahue is there now with the latest on all the travel chaos. Lillian, what are you learning?
This is ABC 15 Arizona at 4.
If you're just joining us, monsoon 2025 going out with a bang here, to say the least. Storm slamming Arizona today. Just take a look at some of the video here from Norm capturing that hail coming down in Peoria. And we're not talking small pieces of hail either here. Just take a look at the size. Video taken from our viewer Lisa here as well.
Yeah, we are also following flooding across the state. Our crews all across town running into flooded roads. And an important reminder here, don't try to drive through flooded roads. This video from I-17, I-10 split. Remember, turn around, don't drown.
A live look right now across town, and we have team coverage, as Faye mentioned here, tracking this monsoon madness and all the aftermath as well. Let's start with Chief Meteorologist Amber Solons with the very latest on that radar behind you, Amber.
Yeah, it is still really active across the valley. This all started this morning between about 9 and 10 a.m. and we've been going ever since with storm after storm after storm tracking through the Phoenix metro area. Flash flood warnings are in effect for most of us until later on this evening, about 6 o'clock tonight for the East Valley and areas south of here over Pinal County. And if you were watching us just moments ago, we were showing you the severe thunderstorm warning down in Queen Creek. We were talking about whether or not we were going to see another severe thunderstorm warning issued off of this, and the National Weather Service has gone ahead and put one out. It's a little farther to the east, includes Florence Junction here. This severe thunderstorm warning going until 4:30 this afternoon. We've got the chance of seeing hail the size of quarters with this, and of course some dangerous wind gusts that could top 60 miles per hour. I do just want to zoom in a little bit closer. I want to show you where the most likely spot for hail is. It's actually to the south of the 60 right before you get to Florence Junction. There's the hail core getting picked up on our ABC 15 Desert Doppler. Heavier rain just to the southeast of there at this hour. We also have shower activity and the chance for hail tonight in Queen Creek and right over the Santan Mountains. Got a couple other hail cores showing up on the radar right now. Heavy rain impacting along the I-10 and along the Loop 101 through Chandler and also out toward Gilbert tonight and Superstition Springs Mall. So we've got these pockets stretched across the East Valley, bringing more heavy downpours. And in some of these neighborhoods, we've already picked up more than an inch of rain. So those rain gauges are still filling up quickly. I'm trying to update those rainfall totals as fast as I can, but with the rain still falling, it is changing by the minute. Heavy rain right now from Fountain Hills down toward Apache Junction as well. And so far at Phoenix Sky Harbor, we have already picked up over an inch and a half of rain. In fact, today alone, 1.64 inches of rain at Sky Harbor. That has brought our monsoon total up to over 2.5 inches and taking us from what looked like was going to be a drier than normal monsoon to now a wetter than normal monsoon because the average for the entire season is 2.43. So we've already topped that. Rain is still falling. We have more chances into tomorrow and Sunday before the forecast really dries back out again across the state. But I do want to take you back to the radar right now. We're going to give you a quick lay of the land here as we continue to track the shower and thunderstorm activity at this hour. And I do want to let you know we have flood watches that go until very late tonight, a severe thunderstorm watch that also goes until about 7 p.m. So I'm going to peel back the current warning layer, and you can see at this hour we still have some heavy rain mainly impacting the East Valley, lighter stuff to the north and to the west, but more storms that are building to the south and southwest that will be pushing up into the Phoenix metro area over the next couple of hours. So storm chances continue. I think the majority of the action is going to happen between now and sunset, and then we'll start to taper off the storm potential. But there's still a chance overnight and still a chance going into tomorrow morning for a little bit more across the valley.
Amber, thank you very much. Of course, all that water coming down has to go somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it is going on the roads, making it very dangerous to drive in some areas. Our Adam Klepp in Whitman tonight for a water rescue.
Yeah, something you might hear a lot in our shows is turn around, don't drown. We're going to show you exactly why right here. You can see that gray sedan stuck right here in the water. We are south of Whitman on Crozier Road. This is not the point of the swift water rescue that we are trying to get to at this point. We're about 2 miles from that rescue. You can see that sheriff's truck going by, heading to that supposed rescue point. This is the information we have right now from the Arizona Fire and Medical Authority that they, Surprise Fire, and MCSO are responding to a water rescue incident. Initial reports right now are that there are 2 people that might be trapped in the wash following this heavy rainfall. So right now you see all of these cars trying to push through this wash here, but many others as well simply turning around to play it safe.
Trying to get home. This is crazy. I haven't seen anything like this in the 10 years we've been out here.
Again, 2 people in a swift water rescue right now. MCSO, the Arizona Fire and Medical responding to that at the moment. This is as close as we can get to that scene, and we'll continue to provide you updates as we get them out here in the field near Whitman. Reporting live, Adam Klepp, ABC15, Arizona.
All right, Adam, thank you for showing us the very latest there. We're going to continue to monitor the potential water rescue out there. Meteorologist Justin Hobbs in live drive right now. Justin, where are you at this point? What are you seeing? I can clearly hear that rain coming down.
Yeah, that wall of water coming into Fountain Hills, it just got to us. We're on Fort McDowell Road. We've been driving up and down this road because we've seen spots like this that you see in front of us completely underwater. The one where we saw the family just earlier who was not able to get to the house, it looked like it did clear out. There's a swath of mud there though, so I mean, even when these roads do clear out from the water, it's still dangerous because your car can get stuck, and then you get another wave of rain like we're seeing right now, and it takes moments for that water to come rushing down. Again, you're taking a look at that heavy rain once again coming down here. It looks like that is a water treatment road, and we're on Fort McDowell Road here, where water continuing to move down and across these roadways. And this is something we've seen a lot because we've been having those periods and waves of rain coming through. Very heavy rain picking up right now, and all it flowing down there into the river. So again, as we've been out here throughout the afternoon, we've been seeing many people driving through these flooded roadways. And again, you never know how deep that water is, and it only takes 18 inches. Now, I know if you have a truck, you may think you can get through it, but 18 inches of flowing water can move a truck, can swift you off the road. So it's not worth risking your life. We've seen 3 school buses already go through flooded roadways, including Mesa Unified and Fountain Hills school buses. 2 of their school buses driving through a flooded roadway. So again, as we continue to see these rounds of rain develop and pushing through, you may get breaks where this water goes down and it is going to just come right back up. So be careful this evening. Remember, if you do come across a flooded roadway like this, turn around and don't drown. Listen back to you guys in the studio.
Can't say that message often enough, Justin. Thank you.
Absolutely, for sure. You know what? These storms are causing some major delays, headaches, some packing your patience situations for folks at Sky Harbor.
Yeah, big time. Our Lillian Donahue live at Sky Harbor Airport, where a ground stop was just extended.
Yeah, we're just learning in the last few minutes that the ground stop that was supposed to end around 4:30 has now been extended all the way to 6 o'clock today. But you can see behind me on the departure boards here that they do have delays and cancellations, more so delays and cancellations than on time, of course, here. Now, you do see that some of them say now at 5, now at 5:42. We know that this situation is changing by the minute for travelers. I was talking with a traveler recently who said that they saw their flight was supposed to be coming in, their husband's flight was supposed to be coming in a few minutes. He wasn't going to be coming in until 4 a.m. tomorrow. So just if you are at the airport or if you're on your way out here, if you know someone's coming into Phoenix, just make sure that you pay attention, check with your airline, check with your specific situation before heading out here as well, because we know that this is on that ground stop until 6 o'clock due to the thunderstorms and aftermath. We also know that Las Vegas is also on a ground stop until 4:15. So just the next 15 minutes here, 10-ish, 15 15 minutes. The total here, as you can see, just so many delays, multiple cancellations. We're looking at roughly, per Phoenix Sky Harbor's website, I updated it just a few minutes ago, it's about 48 canceled flights so far and 413 delayed flights. Some other flights as well have been diverted, 4 of them to other spots. But there are people that are still coming to the airport, still going through security right now. But like I said, a lot of the folks we've been talking to over the past 20, 30 minutes have been saying that even what they're seeing on here is changing by the minute. So they're really having to refresh their phones, go back to the counter, talk with folks with their airline to see what's going on, because we know a lot of these flights not only are being delayed, some of them, dozens of them, are being canceled and rebooked till tomorrow. Back to you.
All right, thank you for the very latest there, Lillian. Outside of the valley, the Globe Miami area experiencing intense flooding as well. This was yesterday. More rain could cause more damage there today, and Eleni Dow is there right now for us. Eleni, what are you seeing as you've been moving around the area?
Yes, well, I am actually in Claypool, which is in between Miami and Globe, where they saw most of the flooding, and you can still see a little bit of the remnants of that flooding from yesterday. It was actually roaring when we were here earlier today, and most people did turn around. As you just saw, this person just drove through that, which you should not be doing. As we've said, do not drive through. Now, the Gila County emergency manager tells us there has been some flooding damage to the Walmart, a local bar here, as well as the high school. We went inside with the superintendent as he told us students started noticing water coming into classrooms yesterday when they got all that rain.
The kids were trying to push broom all of the water into the drain, and it was just a very hands-on deck, unique experience.
Now, he tells me they do hope to have school on Monday. They're going to take the weekend to try and clean all of this up. And as for the rest of the area, Gila County Emergency Management says they're working to clean up debris and drains in anticipation for some more rain. They're also urging people to go out and get sandbags, which we did see some people go out and do today. And they're also going to send out a survey trying to assess the damage and looking for volunteers to come out and help clean up. In Globe Miami, I'm Eleni Dow, ABC 15, Arizona.
Eleni, thanks. Rachel Louise just tracking flooding in Sun City, and boy, there's been quite a bit of it, Rachel.
Yeah, Faye, there's been a lot of flooding out here, but hey, do you know how I know it's getting better? Because you can actually see grass now, and you couldn't see that about 3.5 hours ago when this whole area was covered with water. Some people getting it almost close to their homes, and some cars even being pulled into that. We were told that about 5 cars were pulled in, and so when we say, hey, stay in your car, do not drive through this, this is a good example of why the cars got blown away and in this water, and a look at the amount of water they had here. That's covering the path, the grass up to the curb. And everyone I spoke with in this neighborhood saying this is the worst flooding they've seen in this area in years. This area hit by not only about 40 minutes of nonstop rain, but also hail. And neighbors say it got about as big as a penny.
It just flooded. I mean, you couldn't see, this was all completely a lake. You couldn't see the curbs, you couldn't see the grass, couldn't see the drive.
And this area, this golf path right here, this is the tricky issue of why you need to make sure that you're not going through water where you can't see the bottom of it, because it looks like a normal street. It looks like something you could drive through, but because it has this indent here, that's how it caused all these issues, and that could happen throughout the city today. Live in Sun City, Rachel Louise, just ABC 15, Arizona.
Rachel, thanks. Want to take you back out to our live drive now in the downpour. This is State Route 87 near Fort McDowell. So some of the Northeast Valley just absolutely hit with so much from these storms this afternoon.
Yeah, for several hours as well. And take a look at the new video here I want to share with you. This Waymo, the self-driving car, completely stuck in the floodwaters. This is at least the second one we've seen today in this situation. As a result, Waymo has actually suspended all operations in the Phoenix metro area because of the weather situation. Another reminder, of course, whether you're AI or human, turn around and don't drown. Don't drive through these flooded waters. Viewer Candace catching people kayaking as well in Scottsdale again. Faye mentioned this earlier. You don't know what's in this water. I mean, it's coming from everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. When down the storm drains, the water is coming right back up. So you can imagine all sorts of things went down there. Also keep in mind, We do live in a climate, in an area that has snakes, and the snakes are also in the water sometimes. So that's just another reason that you don't want to get out of said kayak there and start walking around in that water. Really, it is not safe to do that. Anyway, want to talk about some other areas of our state. Now, we are tracking the storms all over the place, and can you guess where this is? This is the Arizona Snow Bowl, and yes, that's not hail coming down. That is a little bit of snow coming down.
Wow.
They're near Flagstaff. The ski resort sharing this video on social media this afternoon. Ski season, by the way, not expected to kick off until November 7th, so we're going to have to wait a little while, but certainly a good sign for all the skiers and snowboarders.
Don't get your hopes up just right. Amber, what are the temps that we've seen this drop in temperatures?
Yeah.
What are we seeing?
I mean, temperatures are in the 60s in some valley neighborhoods here, and that happened in just a couple of hours. We went from the upper 80s just before lunchtime down into the upper 60s by about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and it's been kind of hanging out in the 60s ever since. You can see the shower and thunderstorm activity is still moving through the valley right now, so I do want to give you an update on some of the hardest hit areas, the spots where it's just coming down in buckets right now, and that includes right over Kiwanis Park. This storm bringing heavy rain to South Tempe, but also now pushing up into North Tempe, crossing the 60 and increasing that intensity a little closer to ASU at this hour. So this storm is pushing off to the northeast, which means we're going to see that heavy rain come right over ASU, right over the stadium again here in the next 10 minutes. We also have a little bit more to track farther south. This includes portions of Chandler down just outside of Sun Lakes. A few raindrops coming down in Sun Lakes neighborhoods, but the heavier stuff is just to the east and north of you. And then Apache Junction to Gold Canyon out near Florence Junction. That's where we are really seeing the highest risk for some hail out of these storms. And in fact, so much so, severe thunderstorm warning issued for the Florence Junction area because of that hail threat. It might be the size of quarters, and gusts could hit 60 miles per hour plus with this storm that is out toward Florence Junction right now. Flash flood warnings stretch across the East Valley till 6 o'clock tonight. We also have flash flood warnings farther north. They're going to expire a little bit earlier unless they get extended. The one for central Phoenix and Scottsdale stretching all the way up toward New River goes until 5:30. Heavy rain, though, a little bit farther east than that, out toward Fountain Hills, Rio Verde. This is pushing off to the northeast as well, so should start to lighten up a bit in the Fountain Hills area in about the next 15 minutes. But we're watching what's happening down to the south, too. It's these storms that could be moving off to the northeast and potentially impacting parts of the Phoenix metro area again over the next couple of hours. Some new pop-ups right now just north of Casa Grande, but really the strongest stuff is south of there. These are the storms that will train over Florence for about the next hour or two. So Florence, you've got more coming, including the chance for hail. 3 separate hail cores getting picked up on ABC15 Desert Doppler with that storm that is just south of Casa Grande right now. Really a lot to track. I will show you the rainfall totals, but I will preface this by saying I haven't been able to update these in about the last 10 minutes. And so some of these values have gone up considerably in that time with the heavy rainfall that we're seeing. But we've already picked up over 2 inches of rain in Scottsdale today, over 1.25 inches in Tempe, over 1 inch in Mesa, Phoenix 1.64 inches of rain, and about 1 inch of that happened in 30 minutes earlier this afternoon. So we've gotten that monsoon rainfall deficit completely eliminated with today's storms, and more rain is on the way. In fact, there again is just an update on our monsoon total, which is now up to over 2.5 inches of rain. The majority of that happening today, so we're above the average of 2.43 for the monsoon season. And just a quick note on this, what we've been seeing over the last decade or so is not as many rainy days during the monsoon season, but when the rain does come, we get more in a short amount of time. And there are some very key climate connections to that, in that we know that as the atmosphere gets warmer, it's able to hold more water vapor. So when the storms do come, we get heavy downpours like we're seeing today. We go from next to nothing to practically not being able to turn the rain off. And we saw this first in the summer of 2020 when we picked up 90% of our monsoon rainfall that summer in just about 2 hours time. Now we've done a really heavy rainfall event again today and seen over half of our rainfall for the entire monsoon season picked up in just a couple of hours. So I do want to make the connection here that we know why this is happening. We know it's because our atmosphere is warmer and because it can hold more water vapor. And what that leads to is more extremes on the scale. So when it's dry, it's more extremely dry. And when it's wet, it's a day like today, or it just doesn't seem to end. And we fill up those buckets over and over and over again. We have parts of the East Valley that have picked up nearly 4 inches of rain today. 4 inches of rain in just a couple of hours. It's been incredible. And again, it is still coming down hard in parts of the East Valley. In the West Valley, lighter rain through Glendale. But as you go farther west, Goodyear, Surprise, drying things out completely in some of these neighborhoods with just a little bit of rain over the Estrella Mountains that could potentially come up. But it's most likely going to clip farther to the east out toward Glendale again and not necessarily out toward the Loop 303. So a few more hours to go on these storms here across the valley. Flash flood warnings remain in effect. And we are closely monitoring the situation in Tempe because we are a little more than an hour and a half away from kickoff at the ASU football game, and the rain is still pouring down. We're told that as long as it's raining, that's not a problem. It's the lightning that's a problem, and we've got a lot of it with these storms. So that's what we're going to continue to monitor here in the hours ahead. Craig?
All right. Thank you very much, Amber.
About that, I want to, as we take a look at some pictures from Whitman, I also want to mention very quickly, because in addition to the football game that ASU is playing TCU this evening, there are lots of high school games going on. The AIA is the governing body for high school sports. I was just checking their bylaws, and they said officials would be the ones to decide whether games are stopped or resumed in consultation with coaches and school officials. But if there is lightning or there is thunder, it is a mandatory 30-minute hold on anything going on. So watch your school's websites, because some of these games may be in jeopardy this evening.
Safety, a big priority out there
Absolutely.
for everyone, of course. We are monitoring the potential swiftwater rescue out in the Whitman area. We have crews out there, and in other parts of the valley. If you've just tuned in, we're going to get you caught up with everything that's taking place right after this short break.
We have some breaking news we want to get to right now. ABC 15 tracking a shooting. This is near Scottsdale Road and Curry, so kind of along that Scottsdale-Tempe border. Tempe police, in fact, telling us right now that this is still a very active scene. We're working to get more information for you. We'll be sure to keep you updated on air and online at abc15.com. We are in weather action mode today, tracking a very active day of monsoon storms.
And back to meteorologist Justin Hobbs, in fact, in live drive still out there just tooling around kind of the Fountain Hills area. Have you moved away from that area? What are you seeing now, and where are you?
Yeah, hey guys, we are driving just to the east-northeast of Fountain Hills. Now, we're on Highway 87. We just crossed over the Verde River. I will tell you, it is completely flowing out of its banks. You can see several cars pulling off the highway as this round of rain pushed through. I mean, we ourselves had to pull off the roadway because you could not see a couple inches in front of you. Of course, we're still starting to drive back into that heavy rain, but I will say, I'm not sure if you can quite see off on the side of the road, but just water just gushing through that desert landscape, all flowing down there towards the Verde River, and we've seen multiple areas of roads underwater, especially on Fort McDowell Road. A lot of water is over on that roadway. You can see that standing water there just off the highway, all that flowing down. Again, we're just now driving back into that heaviest part of this storm system. You can see it picking up here, making it very difficult to drive through. And these fields just to our side just completely washed out. I mean, you're literally turning the desert landscape into a swamp right now, just because we've had just continuous rounds of rain. We've felt that throughout the valley, especially up here in the Fountain Hills area. All of this washing down to the Verde River and making its way into the Salt River. And what we've noticed is at times, of course, we get that little bit of a drop in some of those flooded roadways, and all it takes is this quick little round of rain like this, and it will pick up once again. But again, if you're just now joining, we are on Highway 87 driving outside of Fountain Hills. We just crossed over the Verde River just a few minutes ago. Fields to our right completely washed out and flooded, and all that water gushing down towards the Verde River, which is already flowing out of its banks. Again, a reminder, if you do come across a flooded roadway, do not drive through it. We have already seen 3 school buses today driving through those flooded roadways. A Mesa Unified School Bus, as well as a Fountain Hills School Bus, 2 of those driving through the floodway. Be careful as you're heading out for any of those evening plans. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, Justin, thank you very much. Those McDowell Mountains, sometimes they act like an umbrella, and other times they act like a faucet and just send that water really running. Another live look outside. We are in weather action mode, tracking storms hitting the valley. This is the 202 at Kyrene. You can see just how much water is on the highway. Really take it easy out there. Different parts of the valley have been just absolutely inundated with rain from these storms. It's causing a lot of water to be on these roads, and it makes very slick out there. Want to take a look at some of the other video we're getting from our viewers as well. This is in Tempe near McClintock and Guadalupe. Thank you so much for everyone who's been sending some of these videos in. We certainly appreciate it when you help us tell the weather story. We'll be right back.
This is ABC15 Arizona.
4:30 on this Friday afternoon. Welcome back to our Weather Action Day coverage as we track storms slamming Arizona right now. The heavy rainfall leading to flooding. Video taken from 99th Avenue here.
It's incredibly intense. There was also hail. Victoria sending this photo from her backyard near Peoria and the 101. Just piles of hail. Almost looks like snow there in the backyard. And a live look across town right now. We have team coverage tracking all of these storms and the aftermath. We want to start with Chief Meteorologist Amber Sullins.
Yeah, Faye, if you are watching us from the East Valley tonight, it is still coming down hard. We've got some very strong storms in the area. For the West Valley, especially far West Valley, it has been pretty quiet over the last few hours. We do have some storms coming in up over the Estrellas, but they're clipping by the 202 into Levine and Glendale and not going back farther to the west. So we're likely going to continue to stay dry in places like Buckeye and Surprise, but the storms will continue to impact the East Valley, and the heaviest stuff potentially just southeast of Santan Valley over the next couple of hours. We do have an active flash flood warning for the East Valley and really southern portions of the Phoenix metro area till 6 o'clock this evening. More flash flood warnings in effect farther north as well for places like Scottsdale and Fountain Hills, as well as that central corridor of Phoenix stretching up to Deer Valley, also under a flash flood warning. But farther down to the southeast, this is where the heaviest rain and the hail has been over the last hour. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm coming out of Florence Junction and out towards Superior, but it expired right at 4:30, and the National Weather Service has not reissued on that. We do, though, still have a heavy downpour along the 60 between Florence Junction and Superior, and more storms to track farther down to the south that are going to train up through Randolph and Florence over the next couple of hours. So all of this is going to push to the northeast, but because this line is so long, it is going to be a long time before these places dry out. So essentially just outside of Casa Grande along the 287 up through Florence all the way to that 60 interchange there and in between Florence Junction and Superior. So that whole line continues to work there that way over the next couple of hours. Farther to the south, we have a dust storm advisory along I-10. This is between Casa Grande and Eloy Picacho Peak. That area, we saw some dust get picked up from the storms that were impacting Pinal County and the valley, and it pushed south. And so that's why that dust storm advisory has been issued. We do have flash flood warnings for the Phoenix metro area for all the areas you see here shaded in red for a little while longer. But even after these expire about 6 o'clock tonight, we remain under a flood watch until 11. And then for areas across southeastern Arizona, flood watches go all the way through 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. So this is going to include Tucson, Sierra Vista, Safford, down toward Nogales. We also still have the threat for severe weather and a severe thunderstorm watch in effect till 7 o'clock tonight, too. We've already received a lot of rain. I just updated these rainfall totals, so these are the newest numbers coming in from the Flood Control District of Maricopa County. And you can see a lot of areas from Phoenix to Levine, out toward Tempe and Cave Creek at over an inch of rain. Scottsdale at 2.36 inches of rain. And there was one site I was monitoring on the Flood Control's website that was getting close to 4 inches. That site has been taken down. So maybe there was a data error in there or perhaps some contamination in the rain gauge, because it looks like they've removed it. And the neighboring sites are on the order of about 2 to 2.5 inches. So it looks like there may have been an issue with that site in particular. But at the Phoenix Zoo nearby, 2 1/4 inches of rain. And just north of there, this is going to be about McDowell and Scottsdale Road, 2.63 inches of rain. So we've got a lot in the gauges. And again, just for some perspective on how much this is, we normally for Phoenix get 2.43 inches of rain for the entire monsoon season. And just today, in a matter of hours, we've received over half of that. And we've gone from this rainfall deficit for monsoon 2025 to a rainfall surplus. This is now going to go down as an above normal monsoon season here in the record books. And we still have chances for more rain tonight, tomorrow, and a little bit on Sunday before we start to dry things back out. But Craig, this much rain is leading to some big problems. We've got flooding in the valley, and it looks like we've got some rescues that have taken place already today, too.
Yeah, that's right, Amber. In fact, we want to go out. This is a live shot in Whitman where Adam Klepp is. And Adam, if we can bring you in, you've been monitoring this situation for quite some time. We're seeing a lot of activity now around this vehicle. Kind of walk us through what you're seeing and what's going on.
Yeah, Craig, this gray car has been stuck in this wash just south of Whitman on Crozier Road. The sheriff's office came by and some safety officials are helping the people that were in that car. We watched them as they climbed out of the sunroof there. And, you know, you've been hearing it in our shows all this afternoon. Turn around, don't drown. This scene you're seeing right here is exactly why we say that. But that is not even the rescue scene that we came out to Whitman for. The Arizona Fire and Medical Authority telling us that they, along with Surprise Fire and MCSO, responded to a water rescue incident in Whitman earlier this afternoon. Right now, they're saying that 2 people might be trapped in a wash following heavy rainfall. We were trying to get to that scene, but as you can see with this road flooded, we decided to pull over and just stay here until it was safe to get over to that area. As you can see again right now, those safety officials helping those 2 people get out of the car. I did speak with a neighbor, Andrea, who came out to see the situation. She says she's lived in Whitman for 15 years and they do get flooding like this a lot, and just said that people still continue to drive through these dangerous washes even when the road is flooded.
Don't go through it. The current of the water is going to carry you away. It's just smarter to be safe and stay on the outside, wait it out, or if you can go into town and be safe, that's probably better. There's no reason to put yourself in danger.
Guys, we're going to stay out here in Whitman monitoring this situation as well as trying to get over to that swift water rescue where, again, 2 people may be trapped in a wash. Try to get some more information for you there. We've seen MCSO vehicles as well as a helicopter head over to that area, so we'll get you any updates as we get them out here in the field. Reporting live from Whitman, Adam Klepp, ABC15, Arizona.
Adam, thank you. Keep us posted. Want to get over to meteorologist Justin Hobbs now. And Justin, you've been all over the valley in live drive and points beyond, from Fountain Hills heading up the 87. Where are you now?
Yeah, we have actually pulled off here off the 87. As you can see, some folks here just in front of us have done and turned on their hazards because the rain has been at times just so blinding that it's not safe to keep driving through. A reminder, as you're heading out this evening, if you don't feel safe, pull over as far as you can, turn on those hazard lights, and if you are going to drive, make sure you're slowing down, giving yourself some extra time. No reason to drive at super high speeds. It's a little too dangerous. But what we've been seeing is just kind of continuous rain. We had another period there just about probably about 15-20 minutes ago, where it was just complete whiteout. Could not see a couple inches in front of our car. And you can see, if you just look to the right of your screen here, the ravine here just to the side of us, completely flooded. We just drove by the Fort McDowell rodeo grounds, which are completely underwater as that water all rushes down towards the Verde River. And I will tell you, we drove past the Verde River as well. It is out of its banks. We've been speaking to people throughout the afternoon. We had some guy that we talked to earlier. He was from Peoria, heading up to Heber Overgaard, and he said, I've lived here for 60 years. I have not seen anything like this. And like Amber said, the reason behind this is because with a warmer atmosphere, it holds more moisture, and that's when you get these deluges of rain, and they just come down at just such heavy rates. So again, as you're heading out this evening, we have seen so many people driving through flooded roadways, and as you've heard, we've got rescues underway. Do not risk your life or your family and your friends as well. So don't drive through those flooded roadways. For now, we're going to continue here on 87 and keep you guys updated as we track this storm. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Justin, thank you. And what a different picture, actually, if we go to Rachel Louise Just, who's been over in the Sun City area, the West Valley. You know, that rain is going to continue to really train and come down over in the east part of the valley. Rachel, I'm seeing lighter rain in your area, and some of the flooding issues there have actually gone down.
Yeah, and we're now on Grand Avenue in Glendale. We're starting to get some rain over here. But yeah, when we looked at the areas that were most impacted earlier today, Sun City was hit really hard. That area was hit by hail that got as big as a penny and about 40 minutes of nonstop rain. That resulted in one neighbor telling me he saw about 5 cars get swept up in a river that formed in the middle of their street. And here's a look at the amount of water they had too, you know, covering the path, the grass, up to the curb. Everyone I spoke with in that neighborhood saying this is the worst they've seen the flooding get in years.
I've been here 10 years, and this is the second time I saw this.
I was asleep, and I'm a heavy sleeper, and it woke me up, for sure. It really woke me up.
And as this storm just keeps on moving, we're going to keep chasing it. We're now heading east, so we'll see what exactly we find, but we're already seeing, you know, as we're driving by, lots of flooding in this area of Glendale as well. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Rachel, thank you very much for the latest there.
And the storm's causing delays and other problems at Sky Harbor Airport. We've been tracking this all day.
Number one, you were looking earlier. We're number one in the nation right now for delays. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Worst airport to be at.
Yes.
Today. Our Lillian Donahue is live at Sky Harbor Airport. And Lillian, I think we're just hearing about a ground stop being extended.
Yeah, we know that ground stop has gone all the way to 6 o'clock. Do you want to see the embodiment of stress right now for a lot of travelers? I'm talking hundreds, thousands of travelers. You can see behind me, this is just the line for Southwest delays and cancellations. So far, what we have seen here at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, 500 flights delayed or canceled, more than 3 diverted, 70 canceled, 427 delayed. But as I'm looking at these stats online right now from Phoenix Sky Harbor, that cancellation number just keeps going up as the FAA continues to extend the ground stop. We first had that ground stop that was supposed to end at 3:30, went to 4:30. Now it is up to 6 o'clock tonight. So this line stretches all the way from Elevator D at the very end of the terminal down to their customer relations line all the way through there. They said that a lot of folks I've been speaking with said that they've been in lines for 20, 30, 40 minutes, some up to an hour, trying to figure out what's next. We've spoken with some folks who have been able to get rebooked on flights for super late tonight, but most of the travelers we've spoken with today say that they are just trying to get out at some point in the next day or so. One person told me a few minutes ago that he was rebooked until the 28th, so 2 more days from now as well, and so he's trying to change that too. But like I was saying, a lot of folks here are in multiple different lines trying to figure out what's going on. Also, something you should be noting, if you are trying to get to the airport or get out of the airport, the SkyTrain is down. And so what they're doing, so we're knowing right now, just in the past few seconds, I'm hearing that the ground stop has now been changed to 5:30. So that might be welcome news for some folks if those flights are able to ramp back up quicker. But as of right now, we're seeing a lot of those cancellations start to pile up as the delays have been pushed hour by hour by hour. So some folks are hoping to get out of here by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. We will see. The biggest recommendation for folks, if you're coming out here, know that the SkyTrain is shut down. So they have shuttles going back and forth if you're trying to get here from the light rail. That's definitely not the easiest way to get to the airport right now. And with all of this going on, they're going to really have to be paying attention to their phones, paying attention to their airlines, what they're saying, because things are changing by the minute just with how all of these delays have stacked on top of each other. We're going to be paying attention to this and keeping track of this all night. Back to you.
Well, I mean, it's going to be not only a long night, but a long weekend, I think, at Sky Harbor.
Yeah, and one of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard when you're in a situation like this is essentially get in line, but work your phone at the same time. Try and do it yourself on your phone, or try and call your airline at the same time, so you're kind of working it from multiple fronts.
That's worked for me, and we were able to get new tickets and everything on the phone way before we got to the front of the line, so that's great advice for sure.
And be kind to the people in customer service. It's not their fault.
Oh yes, absolutely. And you know what? Make sure to download our free ABC15 mobile app right now with hour-by-hour forecasts right down to your own neighborhood. We're going to send you those breaking weather alerts as well. We're going to keep you in the know as the storm works its way through the valley here. Not only today, of course, but in the days, perhaps, and weeks ahead, of course, as well. Going to have another live look outside here. We are in a weather action mode, tracking storms hitting Arizona. More coverage is coming up right after the break.
And we have more viewer video coming into our newsroom as well. Want to show this video from Rich saying a lake formed in his backyard after the storm. Rich, you are not alone today. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to ABC 15. We are in weather action mode, and storm slamming Arizona throughout the entire valley. I think everybody's impacted by this. The Globe Miami area also experiencing intense flooding yesterday. More rain and issues today. Eleni Dow has been keeping an eye on the situation out there. It's quite the mess behind you there, Eleni.
Yes, Craig. Well, like you said, there was intense flooding yesterday, and this is the remnants of all of that. You can see there's still some water on the roadways, but it is much calmer now than it was earlier today when we came out here. There's some video that we want to show you. When we were here earlier, it was actually roaring, and most people who were coming into this area were turning around, which is what you are supposed to do if you are encountering flooding. Now, the Healy County Emergency Manager tells us there has been some flooding damage to the Walmart, a local bar here, as well as the high school. And so we also went inside the school with the superintendent, and he told us students started noticing water coming into their classrooms yesterday when they got all of that rain.
To see the school like this really is like painful, because I want the kids to do well. I want the community to thrive. I know that we're resilient and we'll be ready to go next week.
They actually did have a football game at their school tonight, but that did get moved to the visiting team's school. And he tells me they do hope to have school on Monday, taking this weekend to hopefully clean all of this up. As for the rest of the area, the Gila County Emergency Management says they're working to clean up some debris and drains in anticipation for any more rain. They're also urging people to go out and get sandbags. And they'll also be sending out a survey hoping to assess any damage and look for some volunteers to help them clean up. Live in the Globe Miami area, I'm Eleni Dow, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right, Eleni, thank you very much. And Chelsea, we want to thank you for sending in some video here of dogs out enjoying today's storm. I know the rain probably doesn't normally bother our dogs, but I know anytime the lightning hits and the thunder, my dogs are like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm in a closet. But nice to see the pups having some fun out there in the pouring rain. And some other video here captured a little bit earlier, Fort McDowell Road. This is near the Wecopa Casino out there. We can actually see school buses driving right through the flooded roadways out there. Not sure if there are any school children on that bus. Obviously, at the time of day it was, there likely could be. And viewer Sharon Water on Silverado Golf Course. Hole number 10, to be specific here. You can see all the water out there on the course. You're not playing golf in that kind of weather, Faye.
That is a water hazard.
A little bit.
We have new video of rain from Mountain America Stadium as the Sun Devils get ready to take on number 24 TCU in a Big 12 showdown. Our chief photographer, Danny Bavaro, sharing the rain just pouring down. Now, kickoff is set to begin at 6 p.m., but obviously we've had a lot of lightning throughout the valley. So, Amber, that's one of the things that they're really going to be watching.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have lightning still in this area. The storms are pushing to the north, but you can see on ABC15 Desert Doppler, we're still getting some strikes outside of the storm. And that is always possible. With thunderstorms, lightning can strike miles and miles away from the actual storm. So that's something to watch out for in the hours ahead as well. But at least for now, the rain lightening up out there at the stadium. We do have a little bit of light stuff that's coming through Phoenix that may clip by Tempe in the next hour, but nothing particularly heavy on the way. In fact, as I look at the radar trends south and west of the Phoenix metro area, where a lot of these storms have been originating from, it is far less active down here, and that is a good sign for the valley. It means that things here are going to be quieting down in the next couple of hours. And I've said that all along. Right around sunset tonight, we should really start to see the valley clear out a bit, and storms could continue overnight, particularly across Pinal County. But I think by the time we hit about 6 or 7 p.m., the worst is going to be over here in the valley. And the radar definitely supporting that now with the trends that we're seeing down to the south and southwest. So let me show you what's happening at this hour. We're going to zoom in, freeze frame it. We do have a downpour along I-10 near Tolleson. Another one, I-17. So that's the south bend of I-17 through South Phoenix. We also still have shower and thunderstorm activity up through Scottsdale, McCormick Ranch, still seeing the rain come down. Some heavy downpours just to the north of there, too. Another round of shower and thunderstorm activity that's going to be clipping into Fountain Hills here in just minutes. And then as we kind of take the broader look across the state, we do have rain stretching farther north into Pine and Payson. That's where a lot of the valley storms are going to be heading over the next couple of hours. So it's going to be a very rainy night up there. Thunderstorm activity down to the south. This is the area that is really going to be the biggest concern over the next several hours. These storms are kind of training over the same spots as they push to the north and east. So anywhere from Eloy up through Florence and out towards Superior, these are going to be the areas that are going to be hit the hardest over the next 2 hours. We're going to see lots and lots of lightning. You can see it actually there on the radar, and I'll throw the lightning strike counter on here for you so we can get kind of a clue as to what's happening. 244 strikes with this batch alone. Heavy rain and hail, and the threat for flooding is going to continue in this part of Arizona as well. I do want to take you elsewhere across the state. We do have flash flood warning stretching up toward Bartlett Lake, up toward New River as well, and then that rain coming in up along the rim that I just mentioned earlier. And then if you're watching us from northwestern Arizona tonight, we also have storms that are brewing in Mojave County, Bullhead City, seeing those storms train through. So watch out for gusty winds over 40, maybe over 50 miles per hour, heavy downpours, and lots of lightning with those storms in that part of Arizona as well. Now, the valley remains under flash flood warnings through this evening. 6 o'clock tonight, I think, is the latest expiration time. But after that, we remain under a flood watch until 11. Flood watches continue across southeastern Arizona through tomorrow evening, and severe thunderstorm watches remain in effect as well. At this point, I think the biggest concern for those severe thunderstorm watches is going to be this section of Pinal County that I showed you earlier. For the valley, it's not likely that we're going to see any more severe storms, but the chance of it happening is not completely zero yet. But I am seeing some trends in the radar that tell me that we're close to being finished in the Phoenix metro area and should really start to wind down here in the next hour or so. A lot of rain, though, falling in the gauges. Again, this is an updated look at the map from the Flood Control District of Maricopa County. And you can see we've got a lot of neighborhoods with 1 to 2 inches of rain. Scottsdale even more, 2.36 inches of rain so far today. And again, that has led to a lot of flooding issues across the Phoenix metro area. Craig.
All right, Amber, thank you very much. And another live look outside right now. Monsoon 2025. You know, there are 1,600 customers roughly impacted, APS customers impacted by outages right now. I'm looking online. There are thousands of others, SRP customers ranging from Scottsdale to Gilbert, also in the dark at this hour. We are in weather action mode. Our monsoon coverage continues right here. 77th and Roosevelt, taking a live shot here, and you can see this Toyota Prius in this standing, rushing water there, Faye, and clear, obviously not clear right now if there's somebody inside that vehicle. We see emergency vehicles there as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is the exact situation we don't want folks in.
Right.
That's why we say turn around, don't drown. You're probably tired of hearing us say it, but we remind you all the time because of exactly this type of situation. Sometimes you can get into that water and you don't know how fast it's moving. It moves faster lower down than it does on the top, and this is the situation you can find yourself in. It is incredibly dangerous. We're working to get more information here.
You know, just 6 inches or so of water can really move you and move your vehicle, especially a light vehicle like a Toyota Prius there. Amber, you see scenes like this, and again, we sound like a broken record, but it's true.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous situation, and I do want to let you know that we're going to see more areas that are going to become impassable. The National Weather Service has just put out a flood warning. This is along the Salt River. Essentially, SRP is actually having to increase the releases from the Granite Reef Dam. And so a lot of the low water crossings in this part of the valley, we're talking North Mesa and down toward Tempe, could become impassable as that water flows through. So we've got a lot of rain, and that is leading to an increased release out of Granite Reef Dam and some flooding along the Salt River. Flood advisory in effect out across the West Valley right now, and we also have flash flood warnings in effect across the Phoenix metro area too. Shower and thunderstorm activity still working its way through, but we really will start to wind things down here in the next